Alright, it is very warm, kids. It's very warm in here. But other than it being very, 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 very warm, welcome to Gremlin Lord Live, episode 27, The Road to 40. You'll be hearing a lot about the Road to 40 this year, unfortunately, because it is a year-long road. Technically, it's already below a year-long road. Sorry. It's weird because like, there's a timer. Is it just going to keep doing that? No. Anyway, so that's it's my sweat tab. Oh, we're so sweaty. It's very warm. Okay, it is 8 o'clock at night. It is still 90 degrees outside. It's not going to get much lower than that. I did realize that there's not really a good angle here. Here. What are they gonna do, right? Nobody's gonna watch this. It's okay. It makes me look like I got tig old bitties here. Anyway, hi. This is our 27th YouTube Live. We have 4 movies to talk about. We have Gail Daughtry in the Celebrity S blank X Pass, Moonlight, Wild Wild West, and Night Swim. However, yeah, pecs action. I mean, the way they look here, they look more like saggy bags. Hi, friends. Thanks for joining me. So, I want to start this video, which if you've already followed me on Twitch, you've already heard this spiel. The channel is going to be shifting. So as you know, for right now, I create a single movie review, usually 3 out of 4 weeks in a month, and then we do a YouTube Live. However, now that we are approaching and we are on this road to 40, unfortunately, things haven't quite worked out the way we thought they would. Or we're hoping they would, I guess I should say. I didn't think it was going to work out. But that means that we need to readjust and shift. And that means there will probably be more YouTube Lives in the future as opposed to single movie reviews. Simply because my single movie reviews take me 10 plus hours to do every week. I have to watch the movie on Mondays. It usually takes me all day to write on Tuesdays, and I film on Wednesdays and start editing. And then I got to keep editing on Thursday, make a green screen it, make a background. Well, the background, we're going to make a background. Make the thumbnail. All that's from scratch with no AI because I don't use AI. And it's a very, very long process. Even more so if we do skits in there, especially skits with multiple characters, because I got to plan out camera direction, where I'm standing in the cinematography and stuff. It's a lot. And the payoff is negligible. Obviously, you guys who come out and watch this stuff, I will always be thankful for it. And your continued support means the world. I feel like I'm not lit up enough. Enjoy my wet back. Ugh. Anyway, but the channel is not growing. That's the problem. We've been doing it for 6 years now, and we have 350 subscribers. And obviously, I wasn't as consistent throughout those entire 6 years. But the last 2.5, I've been fairly consistent. And the growth just isn't there. So, I'm gonna have to move on slightly. Obviously, I still want to talk about movies. I still want to do movie reviews. I can't stop buying them. I have a whole another bunch of movies right here to show you. But it's just going to be more of this, which I realize isn't everybody's cup of tea. Most people don't want to sit and listen to these afterwards because there's a lot of chat interaction. And if you don't have chat that you can see, then you don't really know who I'm talking to. I do still want to do single movie reviews. It's not going away. However, I may just have to cut out the green screening aspect of it. I think that if we cut that out, it would become a bit more manageable. Which sucks, because I feel like my green screens are something that set me apart from other people, because a lot of people don't use green screens. They have, like, you know, they're set up with their movies or their paraphernalia, posters, stuff like that. And I feel like my green screens, which I spent time handcrafting, gave me a bit of a creative edge over those folks, which obviously is not what the public wants. So, but I do have my bookshelf full of movies, as you've seen in my shorts. Yeah, no AI. We don't use AI here. Okay, this is all real. Okay, these wrinkles, these blemishes, this is all real. No AI here. But I have my shelf with my movies, and technically I could record in front of it for a review. So I can. There are complications with that. There's not really any airflow in that room. The bookshelf is next to 2 windows, so the lighting of the window might mess it up because there won't be any light coming on my face. It'll be coming from behind me. So I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm going to test it out, not this week and not next week, because this heat is absolutely unbearable. There's no way I can sit in that room, because I can open the windows in that room, but there is no wind coming in those windows in the front of the house. So not now. But I do want to do like a solo review for things like The Odyssey. So I think that comes out, what, July? We're in July. But yeah. So it's not going away completely, but they may be few and far between. This has also helped me get through my massive collection of movies that I need to watch. Because, as I already said, I have a whole box here of movies that I bought that I can't seem to stop buying. So I need to start watching them and reviewing them, which means a lot of these lives may be movies you haven't heard of, or are older movies. Like these movies today, only one of them is new. The rest are all older. But I want to watch them, and I want to review them. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's what I was already doing with my bargain bin bag reviews and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a mix of movies. That's like the first time my air conditioner has turned off since I turned it on at 3:30. It's like 4.5 hours. I have it on eco mode. I know you're thinking, why on earth do you have it on eco mode? But it's been on this whole time. So it may seem a little bit quieter right now because the air conditioner isn't running. But anyway, so yeah, that's the plan for the channel. You're still going to get weekly content. I'm still going to create things. Skits can still happen in those few solo reviews that I do. Or maybe if I think it's something I really like, I can do it and just release it as a short in itself. I don't know. So right now, it's very hot this summer, and it's going to be a pain in the ass this whole summer. So I know. It's just, I can't do really skits in this setting. If I had like an actual stream set up, not just my phone, then you could do a green screen and I could do like an actual stream. That could be a thing. But unfortunately, I don't have that, so. And it's not really what's the word I'm looking for? Cost efficient to do that at this point when I'm already reducing my creative load. So, yeah. But anywho, so Prince, since you're the only one chatting, oops, I didn't mean to pause that. What movie do you want to talk about first? We have Gail Daughtry, Moonlight, Night Swim, and Wild Wild West. The Pass movie. Okay, so Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Pass. It's like, how would I even do a video on that? I mean, I heard somebody else say the word SEX, and it's like, I feel like if I said that, my stuff would get flagged. You know, I called it like a hall pass. I called it a romance pass. Like, you know, that's what I do it. It's allowed. Technically, it's allowed, but like having it in your title, like if I was doing just a review, it would be like Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, whatever movie review. That would be a lot, and to have it in the title is a bit much, and it could get flagged by YouTube's AI because YouTube's AI is really great and highly efficient. So anyway. So Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. It's rated R. It was the Regal Mystery Movie this week on June 29th. It does not release until the 10th. So next week. It is only an hour and 33 minutes. I won't lie, it felt a little bit longer than that. This lighting is not very good. I have like a shadow on my face. Going under. Get you another click. I think it's just because of where it's positioned. Anyway, it's a short one. Yeah, it is short. It didn't feel super short to me, but yeah. I've never heard of this movie before. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I've never heard of it. It's definitely like a surprise. This is the mystery movie. You may never hear of it ever again. Let me go to IMDb. We can get it up here. Gail Daughtry. Gail Daughtry. My computer is very, very warm. First and foremost, it's very much a comedy movie. This is a tongue-in-cheek. It knows it's a comedy movie. The characters are it's kind of like people have been comparing it to Airplane, which I understand why you would, but it's not quite that to me. Here, I'll read you the description. When her fiance uses their celebrity pass agreement, Midwest bride Gail Daughtry travels to Hollywood seeking revenge by pursuing her own celebrity encounter. So basically, it is Zoe Deutsch, who plays Gail Daughtry, and she's a hairdresser in Kansas. And her and her husband, they're like in lovey-dovey, you know, like picture perfect couple, very cheesy cornball type of stuff. It's very tongue-in-cheek. Like there's an opening scene where he's standing outside getting the mail and his robe is open and he's in his underwear and he's very happy to be outside. But he's oblivious to the fact that his robe is open and he's very happy to be outside. And it's like it's that kind of comedy where like the characters are in the world and don't realize that things that they're doing are funny, kind of thing. So kind of like Airplane, where everything's played straight. But the problem is with this one is that sometimes it feels like the characters are waiting for like a reaction. One of those dudes. I don't even find him attractive either. And it's funny because I read some reviews that said that he reminds them of a young Paul Rudd. And I was like, does he? Where? But anyway, so they have a celebrity pass or whatever they talk about. And hers is John Hamm and his is Tilda Swinton. But they end up meeting Jennifer Aniston at a book signing. And he changes his hall pass to Jennifer Aniston. And then you can assume what happens. And it actually was Jennifer Aniston. She was actually in the movie. And that whole scene in itself, when he does the deed with her, is very like not funny to me. Like at first it was funny, but then it drug on. And Aniston's like, you know, like, oh, I think I can tell that this maybe isn't something that you like. I'm getting a lot of not okay with this. And she keeps like talking like that. And it's just kind of like, can we move on from this? Like, can we just move on? Anyway, so she's distraught. She goes to Hollywood with her friend Otto, who's also a hairdresser. He's gay. And they're going to like a hair expo. So basically, the entire movie is a Wizard of Oz remake. Okay? That is the basis of the film. And it didn't really click in my head that much while watching it. I picked up on little things. And then I read a review and I was like, oh my God, that was all just so obvious. Yeah, he's played by... Wait, how come he's not in the... Oh, there he is. Miles Gutierrez Riley. So basically, it's a Wizard of Oz spoof because her name is Gail Daughtry, which is a joke on Dorothy Gale, right? Main character. Her best friend is Otto, which is a play on Toto, same letters, right? And they're going to this magical world of Los Angeles, and they're following the yellow brick road of Hollywood Boulevard with all the Hollywood stars or whatever, right? It's like this whole thing, and they meet characters along the way, and it's 3 guys, and each guy is needing something, right? One needs courage, one needs to think more, one needs a heart. Like, it's all in there. There's an evil witch woman who's like a gangster. You know, it's all Wizard of Ozzy, and it's some of it's really in your face. Like when she says, "I'll get you and your little friend too." Like, okay, that's very obviously Wizard of Oz. But it didn't click in my head as much. I don't know. That's it. Um, but yeah, and there's a hot air balloon. Look, the truth is, the people in my audience absolutely loved it. That guy who always talks a lot, he loved it. He was cracking up, clapping, like, like having the time of their lives. Not everybody, but quite a few people. The people behind me, which was that little boy, remember the one I told you like talks to me sometimes? Him and his mom and his grandma. They were sitting behind me and they didn't laugh as much. Because again, that little boy's not gonna get all the references. That's the thing, because this movie is very much a millennial and older film. All the stuff they're referencing is stuff that a Gen Z person probably wouldn't care about. The jokes are very much millennial type humor and older. Um, it's a very specific type of comedy. It's from a specific comedy troupe. So it's apparently like there was a comedy thing on MTV in the 90s called The State, which had a lot of comedians in it that like went on to do Reno 911, like Thomas Lennon, Carrie Kenny, Michael Ian Black, and they're all in this movie. There's tons. Oh, I did talk about that. How it sometimes feels like they're waiting for responses. Dated. Even the cameos feel a bit dated. I mean, like Richard Kind is in this movie, but it's like, I mean, I know who Richard Kind is. He's like the sitcom king kind of guy. But like, how many Gen Zs know who John Slattery is? John Slattery is one of the main characters. He's playing himself, a fictionalized version of himself. But like, it's John Slattery. Like, I don't think people know him. I mean, he was in Mad Men, and he's in one of the Avengers movies, and I know who he is personally. But he's one of the main characters, John Slattery, and it's like because John Slattery was on Mad Men with John Hamm, so he's like and his version of John Slattery is that he's like out of work actor who had that one big hit in Mad Men, and now is just kind of trying to ride on John Hamm's coattails. It's like a whole thing. Ken Marino is in it. Now, you probably don't know who Ken Marino is. I knew he looked familiar, and I thought he was some scary movie, but he's not. He's from Wet Hot American Summer. And that's what I know him from. I actually hated his character. He's like a paparazzi who was trying to get a picture of John Hamm for years and never could. Ended up being really bad at it. But I didn't like his character because he told the same like story, and I liked the character's reaction to his story, but he just felt really dry to me. And the fact that he's one of the main characters is kind of a drag, in my opinion. And then the other person that she meets is Caleb, who's played by Ben Wang. Wang? Who was in The Long Walk, and I think he was in one of the Karate Kid movies. He's a younger guy. He's like he wants to be a talent agent, and he was funny. And like I said before, you have Miles Gutierrez Riley as well. You do see all the main three, so Ben, Zoe Deutsch, and Miles Gutierrez all in their underwear. So, and Miles Gutierrez Riley was wearing boxer briefs, and I will say that they looked pretty good on him. Ben Wang was wearing baggy old boxers. It's like, come on, bro. And the boxer briefs weren't just like black boxer briefs. They were like patterned, so. He's stuffing. Yeah. But there's a ton of cameos in this movie, and again, they feel old. I mean, like Jennifer Aniston, I mean, people know who she is, right? Like, does Gen Z really know her from anything other than Friends? I don't know. It all felt like something made for our generation. That's what it felt like. Talking about Elizabeth Perkins, which I mentioned in Discord. I mean, I don't want to ruin all of the cameos for you. I did recognize a guy. His name is Zach Oyama. He was in he's like one of those web series, one of those funny web series. Oh yeah, Jennifer Aniston's definitely top tier. There's another person in there who's pretty high up there as well. I think people also recognize, but I won't spoil their cameo. I didn't like their cameo because it's a similar cameo you see in a lot of movies where a celebrity who's known as like a nice person is playing a not nice person. Like their cameo is them being mean or something, and it's just I feel like it's a tired type of cameo. Where you just have these, they're playing like the antithesis of their public persona. I will say, so Thomas Lennon is in it. He's Lieutenant Deagle, New Boot Goofin from Reno 911. You know, the guy in the short shorts, who I think is hilarious. I think he's really funny. His part was super not funny to me. I won't tell you who he is, but I was excited when they showed like who he was. I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be him. Oh, I can't wait. But then he was just kind of like there in the movie. He wasn't like a big part in the movie. I mean, I didn't expect him to be a big part, but he wasn't like interacting with the main cast as much as I thought he would. And then all of his lines felt like they were added in ADR, which makes me think that maybe he didn't do an accent or did a different accent in when they were filming, and then they went back and changed it because he has an accent, but it all sounds added in after the fact, which, as you know, I don't enjoy that. So I got that feeling that's what it was. So I keep saying so. Oh no, my camera. What is going on? Now it's like rocking. What are you rocking for? Stop rocking. I'm trying to move it a little bit closer to the desk, but I see that didn't work at all. So yeah, Thomas Lennon wasn't a big fan of his cameo. But I won't lie, I did chuckle steadily throughout the movie, Prince. So I did laugh. I laughed quite a bit. I had a couple big laughs, and there were also times where I was just like, please, this is a dumb joke. There were times where the bits would just go on way too long, like Family Guy, and I was just like, oh my God, can we move on from this bit? A character was getting their foot hit in a door, and at first it was funny. And then, 5 seconds pass. 10 seconds pass. 15 seconds. Okay. 20 seconds. All right. 30 seconds. Oh my God. And the whole time the character's saying, ow, 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 ow. And the rest of the characters are screaming. Like, this is entirely too long for a bit. Like, holy crap. I couldn't. Yeah, it's very yeah, that. There was some fart jokes that went on a bit too long. Like, I'm not above fart jokes, okay? I'm not. But let's make the joke and let's move on. I don't need farts for 20 seconds. I don't need 20 seconds of farts. I'm just saying. I know. Let's see. I will say that I didn't find John Hamm very funny. When we finally get to John Hamm, I didn't find him funny. I found him to be like a character I've seen him play in other things. Like, he reminded me of his character like in 30 Rock. And it just feels like something I've seen before. And I didn't find any of his like lines or stuff like that to be overtly funny. And plus, Zoe Deutsch is 31, John Hamm's 55. So, it's kind of extreme age difference. But then so is Jennifer Aniston and the other guy. It's pretty much the same thing, just the other direction gender-wise. So, different strokes for different folks. There's a lot of movie tropes, like mistaken identities, mixed up bags, gangsters, bad guys have a computer program that can do anything. There's actually some bloody parts as well, unexpected bloody parts. There's some fight sequences, there's some gun stuff. And again, it's all played very, like, straight-laced about it. So, I know, that's what I mean. It has, like, everything in it. Yeah, because they're being chased by gangsters, because they get caught up in this, like in the Wizard of Oz stuff, right? Because Dorothy and Toto get caught up in the witch's thing. So that's what this is. Gail and Otto are caught up in this gangster woman's, like, thing. Because of a mistaken identity and being in the wrong place at the wrong time, movie trope. So. Gangs of LA. It's not like that. It's just, it's not like Bloods and Crips or anything. It's just a lady and her gang. It's funny. It's also predictable. Like I said, there's some bits in there that got me really good. And there are other parts that just weren't. There is a end of credit scene. So if we do see it, there is an end credit scene. I won't tell you what it is. Now, the last thing I'll talk about this movie is something that some people may not like be part of, but Zoe Deutsch is a massive Zionist. And I know that it's probably you think that's a weird thing to bring up. But I bring it up because I feel like it might hurt the movie's chances of being successful, aside from its terrible title. Oh yeah, she's posted on social media about how, the bombings and everything like that are perfectly justified, and they should get rid of everybody there. The blue and white country literally thanked her publicly for her vocal support of their actions. Yeah. Like they made a list of like celebrities that they wanted to thank, and she was on there. And I knew this going in, and I didn't let it affect my idea of the movie. But when I thought about it more, there were other parts in the movie that were weird. So it was funny in the movie when they get to Hollywood and they're like, where should we go? Where should we go to eat? And this guy's showing them a map and he's like, oh, this place has the best burgers in the world. And it was McDonald's. And this place has the best coffee you'll ever have. And it was Starbucks. I'm sorry, I just ruined those jokes for you. I'm sorry. They're very funny. I was cracking up. But then when I thought about it, I was like, Starbucks and McDonald's are both the same way, right? They both support that same thing. And then there's another cameo from another character who's very famous for a very specific role from the 1970s. And only one character meets them and the other one doesn't. So the character that meets them has the other character guess who they just met. And their hint was Jewish. And the other character immediately guessed who the person was, the celebrity cameo. And I thought it was really weird because when I think of that celebrity, I don't think of their religion first. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I guess I knew that this person was Jewish, but it's like they have this iconic role that everyone knows them as for decades. And that would be the thing that I would use as a hint. So there's that. There's that. It's a car stereo. I thought it was thunder at first. Remind me to put my car windows up. It's not supposed to rain, but I don't want the humidity getting in there. Anyway, yeah, so it's a really odd thing. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I could see more of this stuff in there. So I think really the title of the movie is going to hold it back, because how do you advertise that? You can't really. So it's a very California, LA type of film. But as for a rating, I'm probably going to give it a good solid 6. Like, I found that funnier than Scary Movie, which I gave a 5. But there were more times where I was just kind of sitting there like, all right, as opposed to some of the big laughs I had. But your mileage may vary, because, like I said, there are people in the theater. They thought it was hilarious. They were enjoying themselves. So, different strokes for different folks. But some of these people thought it was gosh darn hilarious. I see you. So, I think, what's it sitting at? It's sitting at a 6.4 right now, and the reviews are funny, absolutely terrible, funniest movie of the year, okay. Yeah, it's different senses of humor, so. I did find things funny in it. I laughed quite a bit, but there's quite a bit I just didn't like, so. Better than average. I wasn't upset that I saw it. I'll say that. I'm fine with that being the Regal mystery movie. Perfectly fine. Yeah. And I'm sure people will have a very good idea about it. So, Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, 6 out of 10. All right. What should we move on to? It's the Wild Wild West, Night Swim, and Moonlight. funny. I was gonna say that's the order that I wrote these in, but it's not. Anyway. Moonlight, 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 Moonlight. I told you that Moonlight was a movie I had been dying to see for years. Came out in 2016. It's been a decade already. It's just crazy to me. And I never got to see it because I was employed back then. And yeah, it's a 10-year-old movie. November 18th. It'll be 10 years this year. It is an hour and 51 minutes. It could have been a bit longer for my taste, actually. But it played at Regal because it was part of the Pride events. It was the last day of Pride, and they played it. Oop, so, and it wasn't an empty theater. It was me, I think 6 other people. So, let's see. A young African-American man grapples with his identity and sexuality while experiencing the everyday struggles of childhood, adolescence, and burgeoning adulthood. Rated R. It is an Oscar-winning film. Remember, it had that big, huge flub at the Oscars where Warren Beatty and was Faye Dunaway read La La Land, and it was actually supposed to be Moonlight. Let's see. This movie was a bit different than what I was expecting. So I was expecting a more straightforward and very dramatic film. Like in-your-face dramatic film. There's a lot of dramas are very dramatic. The publicity stunt? Yeah. Why has it gotta be? I don't know, because the author of the movie and the story is black, so I think he based it partially on his own personal life. But no, I thought it was going to be like more in-your-face drama. And there is big scenes like that, but a lot of it is just life stuff for him. Like his mom is a drug addict, and the movie starts with him being like a little boy, like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. Like he's a little boy. And his mom's on drugs. He runs away. An old guy, I think it goes through 3 stages of his life. It goes from little kid, teenager, to adult. And the adult is probably about 30-something, maybe. His name is Trevante Rhodes. He played the adult guy. Thought he was very good looking in this movie. Oh, I'm sorry, the character's name is Chiron. But they call him Little, and they call him Black. It depends which part of his life he's in, is what they call him. They call him Little because he's little. He's a little, as a kid, he's a little kid. And he gets picked on a lot because he's quiet, and they call him homophobic slurs, which at that point in his life is not because he's gay, it's because he's just, that's just what people call people. Because they're kids. And he gets beat up a lot and stuff. But he does meet Juan, played by Marshall. I said his name right every single time I said it. And now I'm not going to say it right. I'm sitting here and I'm having a big old brain fart. The guy who's supposed to be playing Blade. Mahershala Ali. My God. I can't believe I'm flubbing that up so bad. He was great in it. He actually won an Academy Award for this, for Best Supporting Role, even though he had less than 20 minutes of screen time. He won an Oscar. Mahershala. I don't know. I've been saying it all day. I wrote the review today, and I said it every single time. And now I'm just maybe my brain is just fried from the heat. But, I don't know. But he was great. he's like a father figure. He's a drug dealer. He actually happens to be the mom's drug dealer, which we didn't know. You find that out in the movie along with him and her. And he's really nice. He helps the little boy. He takes him in with his girlfriend, Teresa, played by Janelle Monáe. And they like feed him and stuff and take care of him. But the movie's split up in those 3 parts. And Juan is only in the first part because he dies off screen, which is not a spoiler. This movie's 10 years old, okay? And I was kind of hoping for more about his death because I feel like they could have done a whole, dramatic scene telling us how he died, if he died in violence, if he died whatever. But they did it. But then it was like, maybe they don't need to show us. I think I wrote something down there. Barely mentioned as a footnote. Yeah, it feels like it's more just as another part of the character's life. Like somebody they cared about died. And we weren't privy to that because it's not our lives. It's their lives. So, let's see. I did cry. Of course I cried. I don't think I cried in the 3rd part of the movie. Definitely in the first part when he's a little kid. There's a scene where he asks Teresa and Juan what the F slur is, and it was absolutely devastating because his mom called him that, and it was just like, and it was such a genuine question, and they explain it in a very nice way, and it was just, oof, that's rough. And then when he's a teen, it was also very sad because he's still getting picked on. That was more relatable to me, being called names and hit in school and stuff like that. So, until he snapped. I thankfully never fully snapped. So, it's very good. But so, and then in the 3rd part of the movie is when he's an adult. And you get to see him heal with his mom. His mom's on the path to recovery, and they have a nice moment. It's super sweet. You know what? I think I might have cried during that. Yeah, I think I did. That was a very, touching moment. So. But anyway. The main focus of the movie is on Chiron. He doesn't really talk a lot. As a kid, he barely talks. As a teenager, he barely talks. And as an adult, he barely talks. And I understand that that's who he is. When you're abused and you feel like an outcast, you purposely don't talk so you don't bring attention to yourself. So people will leave you alone. So you just kind of fade into the background. I get that. For a film, it left me wanting more. I was really wanting to hear him talk more, especially as an adult, because as an adult at that point, you would think that he would be a bit better off now because he is more confident. He has his career, which is a drug dealer. I did hype it up a lot in my head. Like I said, I kept thinking it was going to be like any other drama movie where it was going to be, just sad, him getting beat up and called a bunch of slurs and going home to his crackhead mom and she's yelling at him and just like, brah, brah. And all that's in there, but it's not as in your face as I was expecting. So, and I was really expecting more gay stuff, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of conversation, balancing the cultural aspect of homosexuality and masculinity in the Black community, because there's a lot of hyper masculinity in the Black community, and that usually doesn't really go very well with what's considered femininity in homosexuality. So that's a big aspect of the film, and I think it was done really well. where people like overcompensate for being masculine because they don't want to be perceived as being feminine or in touch with their emotions and stuff like that. So it's a very beautiful film, though. I will say that hands down, the cinematography in that is amazing. And I'm pretty sure that it got an Oscar nomination for film editing as well. And I think it was the first black Joy McMillan became the first African American female to be nominated for Best Film Editing. But only nominated, she didn't win. They won for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and Best Picture of the Year. Naomi Harris, who plays his mom, I didn't realize that she's the woman from 28 Days Later, the very first movie in that franchise. She was nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. So, it was nominated for Best Cinematography as well. Did not win, but she was nominated, or they were nominated. So, but the movie's beautiful. Like, some of those shots are just crazy good, and they have some of these, what are they called? Single takes, where the camera never cuts, and you see like a whole section of something in one take. It was a little weird in the beginning because it was like the camera was kind of going around the characters. But again, it made sense because they were at their drug drop spot. So the camera is showing you all around the same way that they're looking around to make sure the police aren't there. So it makes sense. And then they reused some of the same techniques for older Chiron to show how he was a lot like Juan from the beginning of the movie. Mahershala Ali. So I thought that worked. That worked really, really well, and it's something I picked up on. So how many times you should take a shot every time I say the word "so"? You'd be dead. It's only like that one gay scene, though. It was a little disappointing. I was really hoping the ending. I was really hoping for a bit more from the third act when he's an adult, because he reconnects with his childhood friend, who is the friend that he had the gay interaction with. And I found it kind of hard to understand if the friend thought the same way that he did about it. Because the friend talks about how he had a girl, and he has a son, he's not with the woman anymore. And it was just kind of like, is he interested? Because Chiron is still interested. You know, he's like hung up on it. He's been hung up on it for over 15 years. So it's like, yeah, experimenting, sure. But it's I don't know. See, I've never had anybody experiment with, so I mean, I know people do it, but it's never been like an aspect of my life. So it's odd. Like they did have like a wiener contest where characters were showing their wieners, but that was when they were like the first part of the movie when they were kids, and I thought that was a little odd. But I guess the author said it was just something that happened when he was a kid. So I was like, okie dokie. That's not my lived experience. So also, air conditioner, are you aware that you're not running right now? Yeah. So I don't know. But when the credits started to run, I just kind of sat there and I was just like, not a fan of that ending. And I you know, I wasn't expecting to like to get married and overturn Prop 8 and all that stuff. Like I wasn't expecting anything like that. I was just hoping for more conversation about it. Because Chiron does say, you know, this was the experience that defined his life. And the other guy is just kind of, Kevin is his name. It's just kind of like hard to pin down. Like he recognizes it, but he doesn't like acknowledge it. Like, yeah, man, it was important for me too, or it's just what we did as kids. Like there was no confirmation either way of whether it was eventful for him or not eventful for him. And I felt like we were missing some conversation there. Like I wanted more from these characters at the end. I feel like the third act was my least favorite because we didn't learn as much. But I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. Like overall, I did enjoy the movie. I just kind of wish there was more in it. I cried. I did laugh a few times. I'm trying to think of when I laughed. I can't think of. Maybe when they said it looks like a peanut. I think maybe I laughed at that. But I mean, it's not a funny movie, so there's not a lot of comedy in the film. So, but no, I liked it. I think it's probably better that I saw it now. I'm not sure how I would have felt about it 10 years ago. I'm not sure. I mean, I was much more depressed 10 years ago, so maybe it would have impacted me a lot harder in that sense. I don't know. But yeah, I still liked it. So as for a rating, I'm kind of leaning between like an 8 and maybe an 8.5. I don't know, because it's so gorgeous. Like I really loved the look of the film, and I really enjoyed the mom character, her acting. I mean, all the acting I enjoyed. Sometimes I felt like some of the other kid actors were a bit stunted with the way they would talk to each other, and that was a bit odd. But I mean, they're also just kind of kids. You think so? You think it had a bigger effect? I mean, it could have. It could have. I mean, we'll never know because I can't go back in time to watch it with my younger intellect. I mean, that would have been post-Hawaii Gremlin, so a couple years after post-Hawaii Gremlin, obviously. 4 years after, but I don't know. Yes, we're kind of sitting on definitely an 8 at least, but I'm debating if I want to give it an 8.5. But definitely at least an 8. So that I will say. Yeah, like it's good. It's good. I like you said. I think that I was hyping it up. I think I knew it was a Best Picture winner, and in my head, I was like giving it this pedestal treatment that was probably premature of me. So I think you're right there. So Moonlight, at least an 8 out of 10. So that leaves us with our final 2 movies: Night Swim and Wild Wild West. Those are your final 2. I don't have anything written for Wild Wild West because I watched it today. So, but Night Swim I have stuff written for. Night Swim. Do you hate Wild Wild West? Is that what's going on? I feel like you're picking everything but Wild Wild West. So Night Swim. Night Swim came out in 2024. 2024. It's been 2 years already since this movie came out. It is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 38 minutes. Stars Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son. See, I've never seen Wild Wild West until today. This also stars Carrie Condon, who is the woman who keeps popping up everywhere. I've talked about this last night. Was that last night? Yeah, last night on Twitch. She was in F1. She was in Train Dreams, 2 Oscar-nominated Best Picture-nominated films. And she's in it. Nancy Lenehan is in it, who's usually like a character actress. Nobody else I really recognize. I think this might be like one of my first times seeing Wyatt Russell in something knowingly, other than Marvel, because obviously he's the fake Captain America. Oh, he's in Disclosure Day as well. John Walker is his name. So I knew him from Thunderbolts, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's really it. I'm looking through his list right now. Oh, he was in Black Mirror at some point, so I might have seen that. I don't know if I saw the last season. Wait, he was on Arrested Development? As Oakwood in one episode. I'd have to rewatch it. He was in Escape from LA, his dad's movie, as Orphan Boy. Must be nice to have a famous dad. My dad's dead. Anyway. A family moves into a new home, unaware that a dark secret from the house's past will unleash a malevolent force in the backyard pool. Yeah, I could have been an orphan boy in 1996, damn it. Fortunately, my dad worked in a glass factory. He didn't know Kurt Russell. Damn it, Dad. I could have saw this movie in theaters. I decided not to because I didn't think it looked very good. The idea of a haunted pool didn't really appeal to me. So you're probably asking yourself, why on earth did I buy it? Because it was like $9 and it's Blu-ray and DVD and digital copy. I hate that it has like this weird messed upness. And a lot of DVDs from Amazon get that crinkly, like it was the plastic got kind of warped from being too hot or something. I don't know. Yeah, right. It doesn't seem like a movie idea, but it was produced by the producers of Megan and the Nun. It's a Blumhouse film, so James Wan and such. Right? I hate that. I hate it when that happens too. But it happens a lot with Amazon stuff because I feel like it's sitting in a warehouse somewhere or it gets shipped. Like a lot of these movies came in like the second batch just came in one box. It was just the DVDs, no paper. It was very tight, but they were still rattling around a little bit. Sorry, this movie has an award nomination for what? Is it like a Saturn Award or something? Not that Saturn Awards aren't great awards, please. Oh, no, it won an HFCS Award for Worst Film of the Year. It was nominated. Hawaiian Film Critics Society nominated it for the Worst Film of the Year. What an honor. I would have called it the worst film of 2024. I'm sure I saw movies in 2024 that I did not like more than this. Anyway. So the dad is a baseball player, Wyatt Russell's character. He's a former baseball player, but he's developing MS, multiple sclerosis. And it's really set off his career. He's in recovery. We meet him in his recovery, but obviously he's still longing for his baseball career. His wife is very supportive. She's an administrator at a new school. They're trying to find a place to live. so she can start her new job and he can recuperate. So because he really wants to get back to baseball. And she's like, it's MS. Like, it's not usually something you can bounce back from and get right back to your regular life. You can live with it and you could postpone the bad effects of it for a while, depending on the situation. But it's not really something like, oh, I sprained my ankle, now I'm better, back to baseball. But he has a hard time accepting that. They have 2 kids, a teenage daughter named Izzy, and a younger son named Elliot, who they call Ellie. And they picked this house that has a pool. And it's immediate that the pool is not a good thing. Like, it immediately, it feels like it's haunted. Because in the beginning, they show you why it's haunted. Because, horror movies like to do that. They'd like to show you the scary thing in the beginning affecting somebody else. So then we, the audience, know what's going to happen to the main characters. And then the main characters have to discover what we already know from the beginning. So it's a horror trope, and this movie does the same thing. So they have to figure out, why is the pool doing this? Oh no! Do I like when movies do it? It depends. If they do it in a way, and if there's enough mystery around it. So actually Leviticus does it. And Leviticus does it, and I already knew going in what the entity thing was, but I feel like it didn't reveal too much about it when we saw it in Leviticus. In this, I don't think it showed too much about it either, because we do get more revelations later. So I think it still works. Generally, I don't mind it. I think it's okay. It really depends if they're just like, here's the whole story of the monster that's chasing you kind of thing. And as long as there's still mystery for us to also figure out, I'm okay with it. Let's see. But basically, the pool has healing capabilities because the pool water is from a spring. It's not from like the city tap. It's from a spring that's underneath the pool or whatever. So it's like ancient waters or like natural spring water. Yeah. So that's why it has this kind of spiritualness to it, because it heals and makes you feel better. So the dad is really loving it. But then, of course, there's a dark side. You don't get something good without getting something bad. And that's what the horror... And that's not a spoiler, by the way. If you watch the trailer for this, you'll see all that happen. Okay? So, yeah. So, you can't get the good without the bad. So, obviously, bad things happen in horror movie style. What am I drinking? I'm drinking Zero Sugar Dr. Lightning or Dr. Thunder with a splash of coconut flavor. Probably not the best thing to be having when it's hot. But the movie feels like an amalgam of other movies. I kept getting vibes of other films while watching this film. So the dad goes a bit crazy, and that was giving me like I'm gonna butcher this word again. Amityville? Why am I having such a hard time saying it? I couldn't say it last night either when I was recording my voice memo. Amityville? Is that what it is? Where they move in a house and the house like possesses the dad and he has to kill his family? There was a Ryan Reynolds version. That's the one I always think of. Amityville Horror. Amityville. I'm fucking stupid. Oh, freaking stupid, sorry. But it definitely reminded me of that because, he's kind of affected by the pool and he wants to keep his healing from it. But then there's another aspect where the mom goes on like a journey to go figure out what's going on. So she looks up the family who lived there before them. And that reminded me of The Ring. With the blonde lady. Who's the blonde lady in The Ring? I don't remember. But her character, when she goes and tries to piece together what the videotape is and everything, and we learn about like the horses and the well and all that stuff, that's what that felt like when she went on this like solo journey to figure these things out. Naomi Watts, that's what it is. I kept thinking Naomi Campbell, and I'm like, that's not Naomi Campbell. She's a supermodel. Naomi Watts, yes. And I didn't bother to look it up, but that made me think of that. And there's like, there's possession. There's there's all kinds of like little things in there. There's like entity creature things and some parts felt like it. Like there's a lot of little things in there. And it really felt like a mishmash of everything else. And it is only rated PG-13 as well. The acting was okay. I mean, Wyatt Russell was okay. I feel like he's a little cheesy when he got like Angry Dad. Carrie Condon was good. The daughter, not great. Not my favorite. She's played by Amelia Hofery. There's like one scene in particular where she gets hurt, but then she hears a noise and completely forgets that she's hurt. And it's like, you were just screaming in agony, and they're like, and then you're no longer screaming in agony. It was just like, it was really odd. The son was okay. I mean, he's a little kid. What do you want from him? I wasn't scared. Nothing scared me. But you do have to remember, I'm also watching this at home. Excuse me. With my TV sound. And with the air conditioner running. So if there wasn't like any nuanced noise, like background noise or things creeping on you, I couldn't hear it. Because my TV was pretty loud, but with the air conditioner running, I can't hear those little itty bitty noises. So, which is why I watched the other movie at the building today. And that's the problem with the air conditioners. I can't hear stuff. On the 360, I used to wear my headset while I ate dinner so I could hear the movie or TV show, whatever it was I was watching. Which is crazy. So I might have to do that while the air conditioner's on. It's you just don't hear it, That's why I picked like Wild Wild West, because I was like, oh, I don't need to hear the little nuances in that, Let's see. Some of the CGI I didn't like, but then I saw that they actually used practical effects on the creatures and like entity things. But then when they overlaid the CGI like color filters on them when they're in the water, it made them look really fake and really, sometimes they look really cheesy and corny. And I thought that was really unfortunate, because in the special features where they're showing them, they looked good. But the way that it came out in the final product, it didn't look so good. There was a scene where a character was videotaping stuff, but we never see that videotape and nothing ever comes out of it. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it was just odd. Like, they went all this way to set up this video camera to film something. And then when something happens, they run away from the video camera to go stop it. And then what was the point of the video camera? There was no point. The last thing is the ending. The ending to me, it's horror movie ending. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's a horror movie ending so they can make Night Swim too. Also, this was based on a short film. And also, this one came damaged. This little nubby down here is snapped off. So thanks for that, Amazon. Anyway. Yeah, where it's like, something could happen in the future. which is exactly what it is, And I want to say what happened, kind of. So if you don't want to hear this, I don't think it's that big of a spoiler, but if you don't want to hear it, you can. Yeah. Here's the spoil gremlin. So you should not listen till I put him away. Okay? Okay. So in the end, the survivors decide to bury the pool. And they're going to live in the house still. But they're going to bury the pool. And I'm like, why would you bury the pool? You need to tear out the pool. Because you're not going to live in this house forever, right? You're going to die at some point. And if you don't want it to ever happen again, tear it out. Because if somebody is in their yard, I've seen TikToks of this, people are digging in their yard and they find a pool and they restore it. So you're just going to have the same thing happen again. So tear it out. That was my, but again, that's a very horror movie ending, right? We'll never let this happen again. We're going to bury it. And then, Night Swim 2 comes out in 5 years, and it's 20 years later, and somebody digs it up and, pool. So, it bugged me. Direct to streaming Night Swim 2. I'm sure. But it's okay. It played out exactly how I thought it would play out. I wasn't surprised by anything in it. I didn't have any jump scares. Again, that might just be a sound thing because I can't hear it. Nothing really blew me away. But it wasn't terrible. Okay? I wasn't like, oh my god, this is awful. Please just end. It wasn't like that. So I'm sitting at a 4.5, 5 because it is what it is. It's very much, like you said, a stream movie. Check it out one night. Forget about it the next day. It's not something that's going to be like, oh my god, that was the scariest movie I've seen. Oh my god, you remember that one scene from Night Swim? I mean, maybe it'll pop in your head the next time you go swimming. But generally speaking, it's an okay movie. And, I mean, it wasn't... Actually, no, what? I think it actually was successful. I mean, it had a $15 million budget, and it made $54 million. So that's a little bit... That's more than double your budget. I mean, it almost made its entire budget back in its opening weekend. So... It's a January movie. You know how they love putting those horror movies in January. They really do. I remember seeing the trailer for it. I just never watched it. But yeah, it's sitting at a 4.7 on IMDb. Out of 32,000 reviews, most people gave it a 5. Who on earth gave it a 10? Get out of here. It drowns you in boredom. Meh. Yeah, it's a haunted pool. I will say one more thing for this movie. When I was reading the IMDb trivia and the goofs and stuff, there were people who don't understand the film. Some of the trivia things that people put in there as trivia, they're they said it was a goof where the mom went somewhere and when she came back, the pool was full of water again. And it's they literally show you the pool filling itself. It's literally a scene in the movie. They show the pool gurgle up water and fill itself. But they're saying it's a goof, or what's it called? A continuity issue because the pool wasn't full when she left, but it was full when she came back. And it's yeah. There's a scene that shows that. And there was a couple other ones that didn't make any sense. Somebody didn't watch this movie very well to go on IMDb and type in stuff that is not accurate. So, but anyway, Night Swim. Stream it if you like. I now have a digital copy of it. There was one scene that was pretty scary, though, I guess. I won't spoil that for you. But now we're back at Prince's favorite movie, the one he's been avoiding all night. The one he doesn't want you to know about. It's his secret guilty pleasure that he watches every single night. And that is Wild Wild West, starring Will Smith and Kevin Kline. And Salma Hayek. She's also in it. And Kenneth Branagh. This movie was a catastrophic failure, by the way. Which was actually a big surprise to me. Because I remember when it came out, and I remember all the hype around it. Like, I think it had a partnership with Burger King. Because my sister got me the glasses. They're like the little circle glasses that would like sit on your nose. Not Kevin Kline's. Kevin Kline's just sat on his nose. Will Smith's actually went back. And I had those glasses, but my head's too fat for them. Even as a kid, my head was too fat. But I always thought the movie was like a big hit. Because like the song I thought was a big hit. The Will Smith song. Wiggy wiggy wow, wiggy wow, wiggy wiggy wow wow west. But it turns out it wasn't big. I mean, Vetter might be able to speak to it more since he's slightly older than us. It had an estimated budget of $170 million, which is an insane amount of money for 1999. And it only made $222 million. So it was nominated for a bunch of Razzies. And it won a bunch of Razzies. Apparently, it's based on an older TV show called Wild Wild West. And people were upset that it was more comedic than the original series, I guess. Yeah, right? I really thought it was a huge thing. Like, I always thought it was like Independence Day, like another huge, massive film. As the kids say, I was today years old when I learned that this movie was a flop. I can't believe it. 16 awards and 16 wins, 17 nominations. The Bogey Awards, the Kid Choice Awards. Favorite song from a movie, Wild Wild West. The Razzie, it won Worst Picture. Worst Actor Nominee, Worst Screen Couple. Worst Supporting Actor Nominee, Worst Supporting Actress Nominee, Worst Supporting Actress Nominee, Kevin Kline as a prostitute. Worst Director, Barry Sonnenfeld winner. Worst Screenplay winner, and Worst Original Song. Which was, that's funny. How to get Worst Original Song? People love that song. Wiggle wiggle wah. I'm singing that all day. Anyway, this released in 1999. It's PG-13, an hour 46. The two best special agents in the Wild West must save President Grant from the clutches of a diabolical, wheelchair-bound, steampunk-savvy Confederate scientist bent on revenge for losing the Civil War. Will Smith plays Jim West, Captain Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider, no you don't want nada. Kevin Kline plays Artemis Gordon. Kenneth Branagh plays Dr. Arliss Lovelace. Salma Hayek is Rita Escobar. You got M. Emmett Walsh, who's also in this. There was like one Native American, and he was a bad guy. Bai Ling is in this. Ted Levine. Is Ted Levine still alive? I think Ted Levine's dead, isn't he? No, it doesn't say he's dead. Nope, he's still alive. Sorry, Ted Levine. My bad, bro. He's a Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. He's also in Monk. I have like a facial hair that's like digging in my lip. He was a cop. He was also in the Hills Have Eyes remake, which is what I generally know him from. Anyway, I thought this movie was entertaining and funny, and I had a good time. I literally laughed out loud. Ted Levine, yeah. Ted Levine was the dad in Hills Have Eyes remake who gets burned on the cross. But he's in Monk, too. He's one of the main characters in Monk. He's like Monk's boss. But, yeah, I found this movie really funny. I had a great time. I was cracking up. And that's why I was so surprised when I saw that it was a flop. And I don't know if it's like a purist thing that people were upset that it wasn't like the original show enough or something. But I really liked it. Oh, see, now he's going to leave. He said he could be here the whole time, and now he's going to leave. I thought visually it looked good. I liked the steampunk gadgetries. They try to make them seem as realistic as possible. Obviously, it's fantasy, right? Because it wasn't like the show. I never seen the show. I didn't know it was based on a show until I read about it. So, and it's like funny. Like one of the bad guys, like his team is all pretty women. You're staying. All like his team of henchmen are all pretty women, and one of them is Miss Lippenreader, but like spoken like Lippenreader, and she could read lips, and that's what she does multiple times in the movie. She reads lips. And then there's Munitia, who is like a gun nut woman. There's Amazonia, who's a really big, tall woman. And it's just goofy, like tongue-in-cheek stuff, and it's funny. I really liked like Kevin Kline in drag. I thought that was funny. He actually kind of looked, the way he had his red hair reminded me of the ant, which is funny. But yeah, I just found it funny. I was cracking up. Selma Hayek's role. Oh yeah, like there's a part where they're talking about his fake inserts, and he has buckwheat in them, and Jim West is like, no, you need to put like water in them. He's like, doesn't that feel good? And they talk to each other, and he's like, feel my breast. He's like, I am not gonna feel your breast. He's like, no, feel it. Go ahead, touch it. And it's one of those situations where another person hears this conversation and are like, ugh, which is Emmett Walsh. He's like, all right, now you feel mine. And then at one point he says, see? Huh, mine's so hard. I was just like, oh, it's so silly. But I was just cracking up. I had such a good time with it. But Selma Hayek's role, apparently she was disappointed because her role was pretty basic and not really involved. I guess she thought she was going to be like a damsel side character, and she ended up just kind of being really, like, she could have been removed from the film, to be honest, and not had much effect on the film. And that's sad. Will Smith turned down the role of Neo from The Matrix to do this movie. Did you know that? Yeah, he could have been our Neo. But he turned it down to do this movie. Thank God, right? I couldn't picture him being serious. I know he's done serious movies later on in life, but I couldn't picture him being like, doing the martial arts without doing his like signature screams, because you know how he does like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like "Wah!" He did that a lot in this movie too, which is very like signature Will Smith action sequences, his scream. So, but again, I liked him in this movie. I thought he was funny. There were a few times where he looked pretty gay, and I thought that was pretty interesting because there's rumors that he is gay, and there's some sections where he's kind of like swaggering, and I'm like, you look a little gay there, buddy. Gay is good, yeah. It's post Pride Month. We can still be good, and be gay. But like apparently everybody in the movie hated the movie. They were all severely disappointed with it. Most of them say it's the worst thing they've ever done in their careers. And I don't know. I guess maybe because like I said, I haven't seen the original series, so I can't compare it to that. But it definitely feels like a summer blockbuster type of action comedy film, buddy comedy, that people would like. It came out in June. It came out June 30th, 1999, which is my grandma's birthday. And yeah, I guess it just wasn't good. Even Will Smith's mom didn't like it. I don't know. I think a lot of the CGI held up pretty well. I mean, obviously, it's 1999, okay? It's a long time ago. But I would say that, for the most part, at least me watching it on Blu ray, I thought it didn't look crazily out of place, you know? It wasn't like I was watching Langoliers or Beast Wars. It still looked pretty good. I liked Kenneth Branagh's character, Loveless. I thought he was funny. They had like these little tiffs. It reminded me of Scary Movie 2 with David Cross's character in a wheelchair. Him and why can't I think of his name? The guy from Schitt's Creek. The guy from Groundhog's Day. Take my strong hand. Him. When they would do their little jokes about him being in a wheelchair and making fun of his hand and stuff like that. You know, let me give you a hand. Let me give you a standing ovation. Like that type of back and forth jokes and making fun of each other. Him and Will Smith did that like 2 or 3 times, and I thought it was really, really funny. Because his jokes was about Will Smith being black in a post-Civil War world, and then his jokes were being about him being in a wheelchair. So I thought that was pretty funny. I generally had a good time. I'm trying to think of negative things. I mean, Salma Hayek was a low, not her herself, but her role. Um, I did look up something because one of the henchmen, because he was like steampunk, like Frankenstein characters, and Will Smith is fighting him and everything, and then he just like short circuits and falls off a cliff. And I was like, what happened? Did I miss something? Did he like hit something with electrical? Did he get wet? Like what happened? So I rewound it, watched it again. Nothing. So I actually looked it up online. I did a Bing search and I searched metalhead guy from Wild Wild West. How did he die? And it came up. And they just said, oh, he had repeated hits to his head. So he ended up short circuiting, and that's why he fell off the cliff. And I was like, oh, that's not as exciting. I thought because he had like a big wrench. Maybe he made a conduit between two like different polarities or something, and but they didn't show that. He just literally just stand there and went, and just died. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought it was really odd. I'm really just trying to think of stuff that's negative. Mr. Pitt was in it from Seinfeld. I don't know. It just felt like a good time. I was like, this could be in theaters. I'd go watch this in theaters. that would be a good movie to do these kid movies. I mean, it is PG-13, but because these kid movies, they always show the same movies all the time. Do I partake in cocaine? I do not, because I value my nose too much. That's PG-13. I mean, there is a bit of a romantic scene in the beginning of them in the water tower, and they are naked in that. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, Jebediah. Don't forget. But like when they used to do the Regal movies for kids, they would do like a G movie and they would do a PG-13 movie or a PG movie. They would have something for kids and they would have something for like slightly older kids. Like that's how I saw the Goonies in theaters, because they showed the Goonies, which was like awesome. I mean, I've seen the Goonies, but you've always loved me. Oh, thank you, Jebediah. I have always loved you as well. You bring comfort in these dark times of life. Sorry, I can only think of Jebediah being Southern. Jebediah, giving me the vapors. But Jebediah, we're talking about Wild Wild West, if you've seen it. Will Smith and Kevin Kline and Salma Hayek. I liked all the steampunk stuff. I didn't realize I said this in Discord. I didn't realize Balamos by Enrique Iglesias was part of that soundtrack. And it felt sad because the credits were playing and they played, Wild Wild West by Will Smith, and then they played Balamos, but then it didn't finish because the credits ended. I was like, oh. But this does have the music videos on them. I didn't watch them. I wanted to watch Wild Wild West, but I wanted to come home first. Because I remember watching Wild Wild West music video as a kid, and I remember watching it. I went to my friend's house, Bruce, and his friends were there, and they like to do wrestling, which I don't like getting beat up, but he had a trampoline, and I just wanted to bounce on the trampoline, but they wanted to do Stone Cold Stunners on the trampoline. I'm like, I just want to bounce on the trampoline, bro. And they were all much bigger than me. I was like 140 pounds. They were all like 180, 200 pounds. But anyway, after all his friends left, it was just me and him, he put on Wild Wild West, and he was like dancing to it, which was really funny because he was like this big dude who was like, I'm tough. And he's like, Wild Wild West, get on, Wild Wild, like really into it. So every time I think of Wild Wild West, I think of Bruce doing that little dance and how much he loved that song. Because he was such a macho guy. Not that the song's not macho, you can like it. It was just funny. Because Cisco's in that song. Remember Cisco? He's there. He's in his leather vest, and it's open, and you see his muscles, and he has his platinum blonde hair because he has straight too. That part's him. Yeah, good times. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I can't think of anything really negative other than Salma Hayek's poorly written role. I thought it was really funny. Prince, have you seen Wild Wild West? Like, have you seen this? It's the closest I've ever come to dying. Oof. Well, aside from suicide, I was almost hit by a car before. Like, my life did flash in front of my eyes. You saw it once as a kid? Okay. Yeah. It's funny because I can't even say that I saw it. It's like nostalgia for me because I've never seen it as a kid. I mean, I do like Will Smith action movies. 9/11, I was in school, like most people. What else was I doing on 9/11? I was at school, and I was cracking up. But yeah, so now that I've reviewed it, I'm going to give it to my mom in case her and my grandma want to watch it. But it was good. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a rating. Right now, it's sitting at a 4.9 on IMDb. It has slightly better rating than Night Swim. It's streaming on Tubi, Prince, if you want to watch it. Comedy movies are kind of hard to rate because it's like if I gave this a 9, you'd be like, whoa, that's higher than Moonlight. And it's like it's different genre films, you know. I do a 1 to 10 scale because I need that nuance. You know, so like I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I am pleasantly, it made my day. I will say it made my day. And it's kind of funny because Kevin Kline actually plays the president for a bit in this movie. He disguises himself as the president, which is what he did in David. David was the movie where he plays the president impersonator. I have not seen Vanilla Sky, so I do not have a score for that. So I couldn't tell you. Oh, he did play the president. So he played the president and he impersonated the president at the same time. That's interesting. Yeah, like and subscribe, bro. I'm actually shifting my channel a bit. You don't see a subscribe button. How dare you? Do I have access to Vanilla Sky? Let's see. I mean, I don't own it. Let's see. What's it on? Vanilla Sky is on Paramount Plus. It's also on Pluto TV, which I believe is free. A self-indulgent, vain publishing magnate finds his privileged life upended after a vehicular accident with a resentful lover. A lot of people in it. Interesting. No, I've never seen it. So, a rating for Wild Wild West. I think I'm going to say 9. I know, it's crazy. I can't think of things that are negative. The only thing I think of is how they treated Salma Hayek's character. But Prince, it's a comedy, right? Like, I would give Ghostbusters a 10 out of 10 because I love Ghostbusters, but I also love it for nostalgia reasons. So, this movie, I can't think of anything inherently wrong with it. Like, I didn't have any problem with the pacing. You know what? Some of the fight sequences I didn't enjoy. So maybe not a 9. Maybe we'll bump that down a little bit. Because then I think about it. When I mentioned about the Frankenstein guy getting electrocuted, he was just one of many characters that Jim West fought in that scene. Didn't have a lot of explanation. And those characters just kind of came out of nowhere. Because like the only henchmen we ever saw were the women. And I did read on IMDb, it's because they changed it because people thought that it was weird that they were just beating up women or fighting women. So they added a bunch of other goons that were like kind of steampunk goons, but they didn't have any connection to anything else in the film. So now that I think about that, that is true. I'll dwell on it a bit more before I write my actual, like, rate it on Letterboxd. Yeah, the steampunk goons. There's like one had like a railroad spike through his head. And like one had knives for hands, like big blades. And it was just like, where are these guys coming from? I mean, it was basically just like a one-liner fest of Will Smith saying like jokes about it, so which is fine. It just they kind of come out of nowhere. I wanted to see more of the ladies because they were fun, like lip Rita. But yeah, so that's all the movies that we were going to talk about tonight. So Wild Wild West, somewhere in the 8 range. We talked about Moonlight, which I'm also sitting between an 8 and an 8.5. Night Swim, 4.5 to 5. And then Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, about a 6. And since we're just here, I'm going to run through these movies real quick. Movies that I bought on Prime Day. I'm going to do reveals on TikTok, but we'll just go through them anyway since you guys are here right now. I got Jackie Brown, 4K. Got 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, and Weird Science. Backrooms, I enjoyed Backrooms. I actually reviewed that last month as part of my YouTube Live. Got The Monkey. Got Sherlock Holmes. Twister. Twisters, which we have not seen. Speak No Evil. Some of these I can put right on the bookshelves. Evolution, I really want to watch this because I haven't seen it in a long time. Together. Sinners. Him. Yeah, I did see Backrooms. I liked Backrooms. I don't remember what I rated it, but I can look for you. Collateral Damage and Eraser. And then this one, which is one of the movies I really, really liked last year, was Better Man, which has a nice open thing. It's one of those Paramount Presents. Here, I'll look at Backrooms because I know I rated it. Oh, God darn it. I searched at Google rather than IMDb. Stupid. Actually, no, I can just go to my profile. Your ratings. Yeah, Evolution, that was one of my dad's favorite movies, and I haven't seen it in a really long time. It's loading. How come? I think we gave Backrooms 6.5, maybe? I'm trying to find my review. I hate when they don't, like, I feel like there's a way to see your reviews. There we go. Yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Tense but undercooked. It's got a couple more. Hold on. One battle after another. Saving Private Ryan. Shutter Island, which I do want to see. I've been wanting to see that since it came out. Fatal Attraction. And of course, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Legacy. Which those I'll have to rewatch. Have I ever seen the movie Fat Midget, Skinny Midget? I have not. I don't watch a lot of documentaries. I don't see it on IMDb, so if this is like a YouTube thing. Or did you just make it up? Are you pulling my leg, Jebediah? Well, Prince, before you go, did you bring your PlayStation with you? Because if you're babysitting or dog sitting, I was going to say we could do rivals. It is a 6.5. Oh, wah, wah, wah. Lame. So I think we could have played rivals tonight. Am I going to play GTA 6? Negative. I didn't play GTA 5. Even when I was on Game Pass, I still didn't play it. I barely play. I did play GTA 4, but I did not play GTA 5. So it's fine, Prince. It's okay. I'm ending soon here anyway. But yeah. So we went over what we're going to be doing with the channel in the future, because after 6 years of making content, we haven't really grown that much, which is unfortunate. And I'm going to need to, you know, get a job and suffer through life like the rest of the world. Get an arm flex? You want to see my flabby arms? That's silly. As an obese middle-aged man, I must say, I've done arm flexes on Twitch, and I do stream on Twitch as well. He has muscles. Yeah, everybody has muscles. There's muscles under there. Doesn't mean that they're big or anything. It just means that they're under there. Like there's a bit of a tricep there somewhere. It depends on the shadowing. Yeah, like and subscribe for how the hell do you sub? It should just be a sub button underneath the video that says subscribe to channel. Or you just go to my actual profile page and hit subscribe. Which you do by clicking my name. But I'm going to be ending the stream right now because I need to go close the windows in my car. And then get undressed and suffer in this 90-degree heat. So, good night, folks. I will be back tomorrow over on Twitch. I believe we'll be playing some Battlefield 6. I will be playing that. And then we'll be live on Saturday, and I'll be live on Sunday as well. And we'll see what happens next week. I'll probably go see Disclosure Day. Or at least I'll try to go see Disclosure Day. Because I still haven't seen it. Maybe I'll catch Backrooms Extended Edition. Maybe that'll change my opinion on the film. So thanks for watching. All you folks, my top fans there. Prince, Jebediah, Vetter, and Polaris. I see you. You guys have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow on Twitch. Same name, GremlinLord615, in case you want to check me out over there. Alrighty, bye-bye.